Добрий день, з вами Ольга.
Good afternoon, my name is Olga Tamanova and I want to thank everybody who joins Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform. It's day 383 of the full-scale invasion of our homeland by Russian aggressor, and now we will be talking about the situation in Mykolaiv region. Joining us online is Vitaly Kim, the military governor of Mykolaiv region. Good afternoon, Mr. Vitaly. Good afternoon. Mr. Vitaly, we've seen the reports of the general staff that today the occupiers inflicted another strike on Mykolaiv region and there were casualties among the civil population. Can you give us a little bit more detail about the operative situation in the region? Good afternoon once again. Well, the day passed in a more or less tranquil manner, but due to the shelling of the Besarovska community, 2 persons have died, a man and a woman. The rescuers were able to pull a 7-year-old child from under the rubble, and nothing threatens his life, but he was left orphan. Also, there was 1 person injured and about 10 buildings were severely damaged. In other areas, the situation is quite calm. Terrible news, really. Before you, we were talking to our agrarians and we were talking about demining and preparation to the sowing campaign. What is the situation with demining? How are the wars going on and how it will result in the future sowing campaign? Well, the works are underway. Recently there was information that 4 rescuers were injured due to explosion in the border of with Kherson region. Many regions help us with demining along with our international partners, but at the same time, objectively, the pace is not efficient enough to have everything demined in a timely manner, and the agrarians sometimes do it at their own risk. We have about 270,000 hectares which require demining. I cannot give you the number, the figure of the territory which is already demined. It has to be properly certified, but about 70% of the Mykolaiv region lands may be used during this sowing campaign in this season. As to the situation in the region in general, about the operation of the critical infrastructure, how about the power supply, does everything operate correctly and properly? 52 businesses remain without electric power supply currently. All the households are supplied with the electric power 100%. We have issues with the water due to the constant shelling of the infrastructure, including in Kherson region. We have emergencies on a daily basis, but we mitigate them right away. Currently it's alright, it will be better in future. After 1 year of the full-scale invasion, what can you tell us about the businesses? Do the businesses keep coming back to the region, and do they start working more intensely? Well, the small businesses are coming back, the medium businesses come back too, but as to the big businesses, more investments are needed for relocation, and there are still the war risks persisting, and I think they will become they will start coming back after reopening of the port of Mykolaiv. As to the reopening of the businesses, we submitted a number of proposals to the cabinet of ministers, what is required by the business, like insurance of their risks for the material. We understand the needs of the businesses and we work in that area. We have questions on the floor. Dear colleagues, please go ahead. Good afternoon, Irina Mamchar, Ukrinform. As to the return of the businesses to Mykolaiv region, there was information that 2 companies are coming back, Agrofusion and Pepsi Cola. How true is this information, and is there any information on when they will resume their operations in the region, and what other big businesses are planning to resume their operations shortly, such as, for example, state enterprise Zarya Project? They already operating in the region, and Slavia as well, and I will have another question later. Thank you for your question. Pepsi Cola, they already have their employees working. I don't know if they started already manufacturing their products. AgroFusion resumed their operation just partially. They processed the land in other spots to provide their factories with the raw materials. As to the Zarya project, I cannot tell you any information for the time being. As to the others, the main thing for them is logistics and the consumer markets, but I don't know any single businessman who wouldn't have thought about resuming their operation, including big businesses. Thank you. And another question, if you allow me. We know that Mykolaiv region expects from different international partners to receive about 400 module buildings for the people who lost their homes. How those module buildings will be distributed, what will be the criteria for distribution, because it's known that in the region there are more than 10,000 residential buildings destroyed, and is there any aid contemplated for the people who would want to rebuild their dwellings by themselves? Thank you. Yes, you're right. 430 or 432 buildings are already in the region, and they will be distributed first of all in the communities which were affected mostly, and they will be redistributed by the local administrations, local governments. So the communities will do the distribution themselves. Secondly, there is work underway by the government, and Elena Shlak told it on the news that there are about 17 billion hryvnias prepared for compensation for the lost property, and this procedure is just about to be launched. And relevant authorities will report about the beginning of this launching of this procedure as soon as it takes effect. We document all the damages and destructions, and we submit relevant applications, and they will be submitted in the same way. I think proportionally they will be compensated for the communities affected the most. As to the plans for reconstruction and recovery, what are the plans and what are the top priorities of such plans? Maybe something was already rebuilt, maybe some apartment blocks or other facilities of critical or civil infrastructure. We are on the way to reconstruction. First of all, we rebuild the critical infrastructure now to the extent of 95-97% across the region. 5 of the 6 destroyed bridges are rebuilt. There is another bridge in Voznesensk district to be reconstructed. It was done not only with the help of the military, but also with the support of Ukrinform, the administration of Ingulets River. Everything is being rebuilt. First of all, infrastructure, including critical infrastructure, and then we will proceed to the social projects and residential projects. We work on that. The schedule, it's not the plan, but the schedule, I will be able to provide it a little bit later when we understand where the funding will be coming from. Thank you very much for joining our broadcast. I'm reminding you, joining us was Military Governor of Mykolaiv region Vitaly Kim, and our next briefing is at 16:30. Joining us will be Oleksiy Nikumbov, the military governor of Kharkiv region, so bear with us, trust in our armed forces, and work together for a victory and glory to Ukraine.